Hello, this is Movement with Anja. I'm Anja, and I'm glad you're here. Today I am, again, as you see with the orange shirt, I'm here for the National Kidney Foundation for the Rochester chapter, and I would like to talk to you a little bit about exercise. So in the past we have gone through different exercises, upper and lower body, that you can do while you're seated, and also if you're standing up. So all those options are out there. But I'd like to talk a little bit more about this whole concept of kidney disease and exercise. That's really what I'd like to address a little bit more into detail today. So first and foremost, anytime that you do any kind of exercises, you clearly want to check with your doctor. And from all my research that I've gotten so far, the doctors most likely will tell you that exercise is a very, very good thing for you. Very, very much suggested in any form. The things that you really want to do is walking. Walking is your most essential exercise. And I tell a lot of my clients that if you are, for whatever reason, are not able to walk a large distance, walk around your dining room table. It is definitely walking. So ultimately, that's all it takes. It's the movement of your body. Swimming. Bicycling, inside or out, on a stationary bike, or if you are able to go outside and bicycle. Dancing. Who does not like to move to music? And I hear this a lot of times that people say, oh, I'm not a good dancer. Well, it is nowhere written that you have to be a good dancer to move to music, right? That's really it's all about. It's all about getting the heart rate up, moving and working the large muscles in your body, and to help the system, the organism, to kind of remove and work through different problems that it has with the kidneys or different organs. Any kind of lower level exercises will definitely help that as well. So movement altogether, there's lots of studies out there that exercise in any capacity will lower your pain level by almost 30 to 40%, which is a pretty significant amount. So let me tell you a little bit about me. I am a 52-year-old certified personal trainer, and I have found my love and my passion to work with older adults pretty early on in my career as an exercise professional. I've realized that there's lots and lots of people out there, trainers, coaches, instructors. They love to work the young crowd, the high impact, the things that are, absolutely doable if you stick to it. But there are also people, there are for age reasons, disease reasons, there is a group of people that can just not do these kind of things. So that's when I come in. I like to recreate the sense of accomplishment and the fact that you are feeling a good self-worth, that you feel like, okay, I am perfectly able to do these things. They may be a little harder at times, but I am able to. And I'd like to show you a couple of ways to make things easier if you say, well, I really like to do this, but it's just almost not reachable for me. So I will give you a couple of alternatives and modifications to do so. On the bottom here, right there on the corner, there is a rectangle button. It says subscribe. Would love for you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Movement with Anja. I am also appreciative about every comment, likes. If I get a dislike, hey, absolutely. If you have something to say and it's being productive and it's nice, I will absolutely relate to it and talk to you about it and clearly take the advice and possibly build it into whatever I'm doing. So listen to your doctor. Listen to what your doctor has said. So even though I said in the beginning, exercises is really the best thing for our body, no matter what we're dealing with. But there are certain things that your doctor might say that you should not be doing. So that's what I want you to listen to. I would not necessarily have you just, follow me blindly. I give you suggestions. I will give you ideas of what can be done. And then you want to, like I said, use your own discretion of what you would like to do. If you don't feel good, stop. If you find that, this is way too much today, stop. You can always restart the video at some other point and join back in. Not a problem whatsoever. Please make sure, I gotta reach over here. Please make sure that you drink plenty of water. We want to make sure that we keep our water level at a good level. 2% dehydration in your body will create this kind of cotton mouth kind of feeling when you talk and you feel like it's like there's something missing. A lot of times it's just water. And we are, unfortunately, losing the sense of thirst when we age. And we also are finding that we are more focused on food than on actual drinking fluids. So that being said, let's make sure that you stay hydrated and let's keep the water going. And let's do some exercise. So what I would like to do is, so again, through my research and things that I've looked up and read up on for especially about kidney disease, there was very much the stress on yoga. So there's the movement and almost wringing out your muscles and your organs to the point of, doorbell just rang, just ignore it. The organism, so the hormones, the chemicals that we have, the things that your body basically tries to get rid of through your kidneys and bowel movements is basically has to be transported through your body. And one of the beautiful things that yoga will do is exactly that. It will basically help you in getting rid of those kind of things. So there's two things that I'm going to talk to you about because both things could be very easily done on a chair or standing with a chair. So again, if you're working at a desk and being in a seated position a lot, or you're being forced into that seat for medical reasons, there's two different things that we can do very easy. So one of the things that is being done quite frequently and very, very repetitive is the downward facing dog. So a downward facing dog is a weight-bearing position, and actually it's considered a resting position in yoga that if it's done correctly actually feels really good and it is definitely a resting pose. However, a lot of people have problems getting on their knees, weight bearing on their hands. They don't have enough strength in their neck and shoulders. Their hamstrings are really tight. So there's all these reasons why people are struggling with a down dog on the floor. Therefore, is there a modification for yoga and chair yoga, in which I teach a lot as well. So a downward facing dog on the chair will be done as follows. So I'm going to get up. I'm going to show you. So you want to stand behind the chair and you want to have your hands resting on that chair. That is basically your surface. So if you would normally get onto the floor and you put your hands down and you go into a down dog, you are having your hands on the ground. Here we're having the hands on the chair. So from here, you are going to be walking away from your chair. And while you're doing this, you're going to bend your knees. So the reason I'm stressing, and you will hear this over and over again, the reason I want you to bend your knees, if we're going backwards and we are not bending our knees, the weakest or the most flexible part will give in. As you can see, now is my back, and I'm rounding my lower back. So watch, when I'm coming back in and I'm going backwards and I'm bending my knees while I'm doing this, my spine stays straight, and I'm actually taking my spine straight out of the pelvis, and I'm stretching my hamstrings, and I'm releasing the stress in my lower back, because that's really what I want to do. So you want to make sure that we're putting the stretch, boy, that was a hard word, into the hamstrings, into that lower back. But the hamstrings are very delicate as well. So you do not want to just push them and stretch them out. The hamstrings are attached right below your butt cheek and just below your knee joint. So if you feel this in any of those two places, that is not the place where you want to stretch, because that really will just injure the muscle and will tear away the muscle away from the connective tissue. So what you want to do is you want to always focus on having that stretch happening right somewhere in the belly of your muscle. So from here, we're going to take a deep inhale, stretching the body nice and long, and then we're taking those hands down to the chair and we're walking away from the chair. And as you can see, I'm bending my knees and I'm letting my upper body come forward. So now a lot of times when I'm watching people do this, I see this or I see this. Can you see how I'm hanging in here? So either way, my shoulders are not going to be happy, and neither will yours. So the big thing is always injury prevention. So you never want to create something that is going to hurt you in the long run. Clearly, But a lot of times when I'm watching people doing exercises or getting into certain poses, they are actually almost, what is the word I'm looking for? They're making the problem bigger by trying so hard. So let's do this together. We're taking a deep inhale up, lengthening the body, exhaling, taking those hands down to the chair, and then you walk away from the chair and you bend your knees and you reach your fingers away from you. So I want to have my ears somewhere right around my biceps. So when I would be standing up right now, my arms would be here, right next to my ears, and my arms are straight up. That's the position that I'm looking for. So from here, we're going to bend those knees a little deeper and then lift up to the back of your tailbones, right back here. And you will find that that stretch will intensify. So now go ahead and draw your shoulder blades together. Reach through the fingers. Pull your navel in towards your spine. Inhale. Exhale. Soften those knees again. Tuck your pelvis, round your back, and then walk yourself back up. Take a deep inhale, lift. Exhale and stretch. And release those arms. Beautiful. So that is your modified downward facing dog. So, and I would definitely encourage you to do this a couple times throughout the day. Oops, and I just turned my lights off as I got caught on my cable. So, let's see if I can turn it back on. There you are. So our next one is going to be a standing or a seated forward fold. So I'm going to start with the standing one. And there is absolutely no level that is wrong. So a forward fold is ultimately the idea is that we're taking our body again into a nice long position and we're hinging forward and we're allowing our body folding and we're having our hands touching the surface. So if you say, I cannot touch the floor, you have shins, you have thighs, you have hips. So your hands should be on something. The idea here again is just like in the downward facing dog. We're folding the body over and folding it in half. And we want to fold right here, right in the hip groin. So the big thing is, again, if I leave my legs long, this is really an extremely intense stretch back here. And my back is just rounding. And you can see how much more I'm struggling to really get to the floor. So when I'm bending my knees, and I'm coming forward and I'm hinging from the hip and I'm bending my knees and I'm touching whatever surface there is. And now I'm going to let my head drop and I'm lifting up through the tailbone. You will find that that stretch goes exactly where we are intending it to do, going into the back of your legs, lower back. And it's what's called an inversion, which is very much important to, again, oxygen return. It's a very relaxing position. So there's numerous reasons why we want to have our head below the heart sometimes. So from here, I'm going to show you this while we're seated. So if you are more in a seated position, this is where we're going to be. So we have our hips, our legs hip width apart. So I have my legs coming out from my hip socket, knees, and then my feet are directly under my knees. Yeah, that's better. So let's go ahead and take a deep inhale. And then exhale and bring your forearms onto your thighs and lean in. So now again, I don't want to start here. I want to lift my chest. I want to lift my tailbone. And I want to allow my body to lengthen through the crown. So if you say, okay, I can do that. Let's see if we can go a little further. So we're going to take a deep inhale. And then we're exhaling and letting our belly rest on our thighs. And then we're just placing our hands on the floor. So if your hands do not touch when you go there, and they're just kind of dangling mid-air, place them back onto your shins or on your thighs. I do not want those weights of your arms just hanging on your torso and just kind of hanging there. I like to have you have an engagement of the muscle and a control over your movement. So let's do that again. We're taking a deep inhale, lifting up. And then exhale, fold it over. Let your belly rest on your thighs and let your arms rest. So your hands are either on the floor, on your feet. Here we can bring it back on our thighs, whichever is good for you. The key here as well is that we want to let the head hang. A lot of times I see that people are folding forward, but they're still here. They're kind of tilting the head back. So if I'm sitting up and I have this position, you can see how that looks like. So I want to keep my neck aligned. I want to keep my ears over my shoulders, and I would like to extend a nice long spine. So let's do this together. Inhale, lift those arms up. Exhale, fold it over, let your body settle in, or bring yourself on your forearms. Deep inhale, fill those lungs. Exhale, let it all go. Inhale in, and then exhale and slide it back up and come back up into a seated position. Very good. Thank you very much for listening and for watching, everybody. I'm hoping that these tips that I'm giving you give you a little bit of variety of things that you could do throughout the day. I would love to have you comment and like and subscribe. And please check it out on YouTube, because I know you're most likely watching this right now on the Facebook page. So again, thank you very much. I hope I see you next week. And up to that point, let's together say Namaste. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.